Have you ever arrived at a point where you felt like you belonged on a team? It came to me after a difficult first 2 years in which my position in the WNBA felt vague and ill defined. Each participant makes a distinct contribution, which is aided by a robust network, which is crucial. The WNBA community is currently in a state of shock following Lexie Hull's disclosures. Inside the Indiana Fever locker room, she discovered some shocking facts about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, who is renowned for her unwavering poise, has always been the epitome of the unbothered queen. She remains composed throughout games, even when she is pushed, tripped, or even blindfolded, as though it were all part of her grand scheme. However, Lexie Hull is aware of her jobs and understands that it's important to stand out and speak up rather than just blend in. Lexie is not going to keep quiet. She is speaking out against the injustices that her closest friend and teammates, who are the targets of small scale grudges, face with a strong and unyielding voice. She is exposing all of the bullying, humiliation, and various pranks that have been kept under wraps up until now. It's evident from sorting through concealed direct messages, the overwhelming number of which I've stopped reading, that the feelings of irate fans strike a deep chord, serving as a reminder of the numerous invisible supporters who have been there for us the entire time. The Indiana Fever had one victory against 8 crushing losses this season, which presented them with previously unheard of difficulties. This would be disastrous for any team, but for us who had huge expectations, it was a serious issue. The locker room was filled with stress as players and supporters struggled with a crucial question of whether we could bounce back from this setback. The pressure and lingering uncertainties were overwhelming. One of the key players in the team's comeback, Lexie Hull, opened out about the difficult times. The athletes were exhausted, both physically and mentally, and on the verge of breakdown in the tumultuous locker room atmosphere. A strong conviction remained in spite of the intense strain. They were meant for more than their dismal record would indicate. This was a strong belief battling through the frustration, not just hope. As the season went on, we became more accurate, and every shot made the supporters jump out of their seats with excitement. Their confidence lifted our spirits. Everything immediately fell into place when Hull revealed the difficulties that go on behind the scenes. The team struggled emotionally. Every loss seemed like a personal slight, and uncertainty about their position in the league, the effectiveness of their tactics, and even their own responsibilities began to creep in. There was a noticeable sense of strain, as though the crew was barely surviving, and some were wondering if the effort was still worth it. Surprisingly, though, the Indiana Fever never broke under this strain. They opted for cooperation rather than the simpler route of dissension. They defied all difficulties and showed bravery and determination by refusing to place blame on one another. This solidarity created the foundation for an incredible comeback that no one could have predicted. The team's remarkable potential was demonstrated by their ability to come together in the face of chaos, which also paved the way for an unanticipated turn of events. Caitlin Clark's entry into the WNBA draft was the Fever's pivotal moment. The sports community was rocked by the statement. The fact that Indiana had the first pick thrilled fans, who were well aware of Clark's collegiate talent. Once silent regarding the Fever, social media platforms burst into a flurry of activity, with Instagram ablaze with fan art and joy and Twitter ablaze with predictions. As anticipation grew, preseason ticket sales, which had previously been modest, reached previously unheard of heights. This trip demonstrates not only the strength of individual genius, but also the significant influence of solidarity and group conviction in conquering hardship and accomplishing the extraordinary. The atmosphere was electrifying by the time Caitlin Clark entered the Fever's premises, evoking the thrill of a big-budget movie premiere. The excitement was evident on the evening of April 10, 2023, at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where thousands of supporters watched in ecstasy as Clark was selected, visible only on a huge screen. The air buzzed as though a gigantic amplifier had been switched to maximum volume, and the fever, yes, the pun is warmly embraced, reached previously unheard of heights. This experience made me realize that how we develop and overcome our obstacles, which is a reflection of our team's tenacity, is more important than how the season begins. In fact, Caitlin Clark's remarkable three-point shooting and exciting style of play signaled her presence, but it was her infusion of energy into the team's spirit that really made an impact. According to Lexie Hull, Clark had a profound impact on the team from her very first session. It was as if she had given them everyone a boost of energy. The team was instantly different. They were more cohesive and lively. Her humor, which was effortless and natural, was what made the difference. It transformed a room full of nervous athletes into a comedy show audience in a matter of minutes. But in terms of competition, Clark's focus was razor sharp. Her renowned competitive spirit immediately struck a chord with the team as a whole, causing a noticeable change in mindset. Hull recalled that even the most discouraged players were re-energized by Clark's contagious will to win. Her unwavering support made sure that each teammate felt prepared and capable. Under her leadership, practices changed from normal activities to fierce battles that prepared each player for the upcoming battles. Clark's enthusiasm not only encouraged the team, but also helped them go beyond their own perceived boundaries, demonstrating that her influence went well beyond her unique skill set. Then came the scenes that demonstrated Caitlin Clark's ability to be more than just a basketball prodigy. The projected crowd volume was turned up to an almost deafening level by Coach Christ's sides during one very hard practice session. The most of the players clenched their jaws and waited, but Clark boldly yelled, "Can someone turn it off? I'm getting a migraine from it." An unwritten taboo was broken as no one ever confronted Coach Sides in such a direct manner, and the practice hall became silent. Everyone held their breath, anticipating a tense reaction, and the tension was evident. However, the crew unexpectedly burst out laughing when Clark repeated her request, instantly relieving the tension. This strange yet significant episode quickly became a legend in the Fever's history. It demonstrated Clark's talent for big picture thinking and her exceptional ability to inspire trust in her teammates. Take the development of Lexie Hull, for example. After 3 years with the Fever, she helped them go from a rebuilding phase to a fan favorite and a driving force behind arena sellouts. Like an underdog story in a heartwarming film, Hall's WNBA journey is a tale of resiliency and redemption where persistence ultimately pays off. Hull's presence in the league was initially inconspicuous. She spent 2 seasons lingering on the bench, averaging a pitiful 12.2 minutes per game with a depressing shooting percentage of 30.7%. Even ardent fans questioned if she was suitable for professional basketball after her performance. She won back-to-back NCAA championships in 2021 and 2022 while attending Stanford. But the move to the professional ranks was difficult and characterized more by hardship than by achievement. But when the Fever selected Clark as their first draft pick, it was a game changer, sparking excitement not just on the squad but around the community. The support was tremendous, and the excitement was evident. Hall discovered that she thrived with a strategy that was based on a sincere conviction in each player's talent rather than just plays. Hall's game changed once Clark gave his support. The team's confidence in her helped her start to take advantage of opportunities with accuracy. With her shots hitting their mark and her presence on the court evident, Hull went from being a nameless member of the team to a vital member almost overnight. Her teammates watched in amazement as she dominated the court, totally embodying her role with a renewed belief in her ability, while fans who had previously ignored her were now cheering her name. The Indiana Fever's practices were made exciting by Caitlin Clark's renowned competitiveness, which frequently verged on being intense. In a hilarious observation, Lexie Hull said that Clark had a deep dislike of losing even a skirmish. Because of this passion, practice sessions became more like gladiatorial fights, with Clark pushing not only herself but also everyone around her, creating a never-ending desire to win. Players jumped for every lost ball and fought for rebounds with the ferocity of a finals game because of this contagious seal. Every practice mirrored the high stakes of important game days, and the bar was raised. Clark raised the standard for everyone as a result of the competitive atmosphere becoming more intense, as Hull had pointed out. She demonstrated traits that would benefit any team by being exactly where she needed to be, taking and making important shots, and spreading the floor. Clark became a key player in the Fever's locker room thanks to this special combination of intense drive and natural humor. Under Clark's guidance, practices resembled championship games, with intense drills and more intense scrimmages than before. But there was also a sense of excitement. In order to create a balanced environment that was both productive and enjoyable, Clark made sure that the crew enjoyed every moment of their hard work. This two-pronged strategy not only improved team morale, but also justified the intense training sessions. Every player's performance improved, and the team's culture changed as a result of Clark's influence. But Hull's incredible metamorphosis was the clearest example of it. Her recovery demonstrated the significant influence of free confidence, and was not solely the consequence of her own hard work. Her development into a remarkable player was sparked by Clark's faith in Hull, demonstrating the transforming potential of encouragement and the significant impacts of sincere belief in sports teams. This parable demonstrates how a single player's mindset and character can motivate and inspire a whole team, demonstrating that teamwork and camaraderie are just as important as individual skill.